Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for everyone out there who's new to the show, welcome. Feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer, soda, water, coffee in the fridge. Cheers to everyone out there on the internet. For anyone who doesn't know Nicholas, you are a musician and you seem like a pretty wholesome one at that.
I try.
Sometimes you run into some more, people in the arts and entertainment world, especially in the realm of rock music, where I believe you tend to dwell. I know it's not exclusively rock, but you live in those circles. Not always the most wholesome individuals in those places, but also some of the nicest people in the world. And I think you're on the category of nice. So what makes you a nice person in this yin yang spectrum of rock and roll?
What makes me a nice person?
Yeah. Why? Why do you lean towards the light side?
Nice? I mean,
why?
there's so many things that you could be upset about and you could just be negative about. But I mean, I think it takes more strength to see the positive light in things and help others, especially too. I always like getting involved with other activities, other bands too. Good friends of mine, Winter's Descent, Jerry Mulligan, you know them.
Yeah.
They were recording some music. They have an EP coming out. They released their single, so they hit me up asking me to record drums on it, and immediately,
yeah,
hell yeah,
So I do want to throw this out there. Fortune, the track that was released. Mm-hmm. I really think that your performance on that track took it to like another level. The rhythm stuff on it is so cool. The feeling on it is so good. And like, I'm at this point when I listen to drummers play, it's really easy to tell if like somebody's just trying to play a song or play like the song. And I feel like you were really like locking into all of the little nuance and putting a lot of stuff into it.
Yeah,
a drummer's drummer. A drummer's drummer.
A drummer's drummer.
Yes.
I mean, I have been playing drums for a while. But it was a great opportunity. I was really excited to work with those guys and really dig into those drum parts, like nitpick at every little note. And we worked with Sid Riggs, who is amazing at what he does. He's a genius, like one of the most wholesome guys you'll ever meet. I know you've had him on the show.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it was a great opportunity, and he's a drummer / producer, so it was great to work on those drum arrangements with him, those drum parts that we wrote in the studio, and get them knocked out. So we're sharing ideas back and forth. He's running out of the booth and he's like, "Hey man, try this note instead of this note, or this drum here and do this." And he's getting all excited about what we're doing. And then it's getting me all excited. And then it was just positive energy all around. And Jerry and the guys are back there just watching it all unfold. And, I'm just in the zone. It was a long weekend, but yeah, we actually got 5 tracks done. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. I don't know what their release plans are, but they're still
fucking sue us.
Sue me, Jerry. But yeah, so
we all get T-shirts that just say "Sue me, Jerry" on them.
Sue me, Jerry. We'll start a new side project called Sue Me, Jerry.
All right, yep, I'm in it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down.
We're starting a band.
Cool, perfect, done. You heard it here first. So
yeah, I'm really excited to hear the rest of the songs, like finished product, like Fortune is now.
Yeah. So you mentioned, playing drums with different projects and having this positive energy. And I kind of brought up, like, I could tell that like you put a lot of thought into at least what you're doing with the Winter's Descent stuff. I'm not like familiar with your entire catalog of music, but in terms
I should mention my band is Big Atlantic.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I'm here like going on and on about like Jerry's band, and I always forget that I'm in a band myself. I do so many things,
Yeah.
I have people like, I'll be having a conversation with somebody, and then someone else will chime in and be like, he's in a band, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm in a band. I forgot.
Yeah. So Big Atlantic is also a rock band. I wouldn't say it's not as like Winter's Descent exists on that like rock metal sort of.
Yeah, they're kind of like I kind of label them like an alternative metal band. They're
Sure.
not like metal.
But
like your Grey Walker.
I would say, sure, yeah. I would say they're like radio metal, but not in like a negative way. I know sometimes that could come off in the wrong way.
It really works for them.
But yeah, totally. I think that they have like that sound really locked in. And Big Atlantic is still a band that exists in the rock realm, but I think it really sticks more like into more traditional classic elements of rock.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely for a while has like Zeppelin roots, you know,
Yeah.
like The Who, like that kind of stuff, especially on our Tempered record that came out 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
2017. But we're actually in the studio working on some new stuff, and it's good.
Nice. So
really excited to get that stuff finished up and get it out there for you guys to hear.
So you're primarily a drummer with like a rock background, but I can hear like, at least in like the elements of the stuff that you put into that Fortune track, like I can hear a lot more of like a groove, like almost like somebody that digests more like jazz or reggae possibly, and like all of these sorts of things, right?
Yeah, that's funny you should say that, because I'm a huge, and everybody I know knows this, I'm a huge fan. Like my number one favorite band's 311.
Okay.
And they're like the kings of mixing genres, right?
Yeah.
So everyone knows the song Amber, but if you really dive into their catalog, they have a lot more heavy music. They mix funk, rap, reggae, hip hop, like rock, obviously, and some jazz even. But so like I have a lot of roots from growing up listening to them. I was in a 311 tribute band. Geez, we haven't played in a while, but I wouldn't even really say that the band like broke up. We kind of just stopped playing. We all went our own ways. You know, a couple of guys, one guy's got kids, you know, other guy just got married. So we're all kind of like living our own lives.
Yeah.
And that was around the time we stopped playing that I joined Big Atlantic. We played at Hard Rock one time, and Big Atlantic actually opened for the 311 tribute. So I was like opening for myself.
Nice.
But yeah, so and that whole crew of bands, there's 311, another great band, Ballyhoo. They're from Maryland. They're actually coming to Jurgles in September.
Cool.
I think it's September. No. It's August.
Okay.
I want to get that date right, because everyone listening should go to Jurgles and see Ballyhoo. They're phenomenal. Like they label themselves punk rock reggae sex music, and it is just like the party, like the coolest party of a show.
Cool.
And yeah, and it's all like all those bands, Ballyhoo. You have the Movement, Iration, Tropidelic's another really cool band, and that whole crew. But they're all like really reggae driven, positive vibes and everything. So like that's really like where my musical taste for what I listen to more so comes from. But all those rhythms and everything that comes out in like the rock stuff that I play.
Who would have guessed?
But it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that it's very it's very evident in your playing, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious, like in terms of your backgrounds and becoming a musician, you know, was this stuff? Because I mean, 311's been a band since, I imagine we're probably close to the same age. I'm 36. I don't know. You're 34. 34, right? Yeah. So we grew up. Those are bands that we grew up with, right? Was that like something where like you started listening to that kind of music? Or just different styles of music as a kid and then picked up drums? Or was it like you start picking up drums and then you start finding rhythms that you like to play, and that's what introduces you into different styles of music?
Well, I started drumming when I was 8. So my dad was a drummer. He got my older brother playing drums. And actually growing up when I was younger, I kind of I didn't really listen to like mainstream radio all that much. I mainly listened a lot to like the bands that my brother was recording and playing with, because he'd always be passing his stuff down to me. So like that's kind of the stuff that I would listen to more so when I was younger. And then I'd say probably like around high school is when I like discovered 311 and more bands like in that genre that really just kind of changed my life. The first song I heard was Homebrew, and it's just the rhythms from the guitars and the drum just meshed, and even the rhythms and the vocals, just like my mouth dropped. You know, it just like sucked me in, and being really rhythm driven from playing drums all my life, since I was 8. I did band in school, like marching band's a big part of my life. So I went to Montour High School. I was in their marching band, and I was in Pitt's marching band as well. So drumline's like it, but I actually instruct Montour's drumline now.
Oh, cool.
15 years deep with that gig.
Nice.
And it's actually, I know you said this is going out like a little later. So at the moment that this is being recorded, it's actually Bandcamp week. So I'm like, we're doing this, and then I'm all week 8 to 8 with the kids in the sun, and getting their show, they're on the field and everything. So it's an absolute passion job, and I'm blessed to still have that and be able to have that a part of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with learning how to play drums, deciding that you are going to like make this like your life, rhythm is going to be your life. You lucked out in some sort of a way, or maybe you didn't luck out, but like in terms of like now, like with like the Montour school stuff that you're doing, was that something that you like seeked out to do, or was that like an opportunity that like fell into your lap?
In a way, it was kind of both. When I graduated, I was still pretty involved with it. They do summer practices, and I was going back and hanging out and helping them out and stuff. And then what was this, 2 years after I graduated, they got a new band director, and it turned out that it was someone that I was in the marching band with, a couple years older than me, and she immediately hit me up and asked me if I wanted to be her drumline instructor, and seeing that I was already still around and helping them out and stuff. So I immediately took that opportunity, and
Yeah.
and I've been running with it ever since. But it's great because I get to write their show music, which that's going to be tonight into tomorrow. I'm probably not going to sleep much tonight.
Cool.
But they get drum arrangements, and then I rewrite some of their drum parts that they play on the field, and yeah, it's just, I absolutely love doing it. And the absolute 100% best part is every single year, these kids come in, and it's like a brand new fresh start. They all new music, all new, starting over from scratch. And you get to see these kids come in, and a lot of them are new. Every year there's new kids, and people graduate, but they all come here with this common bond. They're in band and they like music, and then they all meet each other, and they kind of grow into like a family, and it's really cool to see them and where they start, and where they struggle, and to see them grow as drummers, musicians, to be able to later on perform and play things that at first they couldn't do.
Yeah.
And that's my absolute favorite part of it all. And I get to see that happen every single year.